Good evening. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Lemaster.
This is Scream Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. We go over the horror news, and tonight, guys, we re-enter the vampire world and see a new version of Dracula that we have not yet talked about. So tonight we are doing John Badham's 1979 Dracula, starring Frank Langella, Donald Pleasance, and Laurence Olivier. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
I'm tired, but hey, I made it.
You made it. Good job. Now you need to wake your bitch ass up. If that doesn't do it, I don't know what will. Guys, we got a lot to talk about with Dracula. I'm excited to talk about it. We also have a lot to talk about with the movie news. We'll be coming up with that. Our Indiegogo is live now. Go donate to it. We also have some, casting news, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. It's exciting. It's at this time mark if you want to see it. But before we get into all that stuff, guys, I have some horror news. And we actually have a shit ton, so we better get to them.
Is that different than a ton of others?
Yeah, it's stinkier.
Oh.
So let's get to it. So guys, this is something that I was actually thinking about the other day. And then it just so happened everybody else was thinking about it at the same time, and we have some news. So do you remember, it's been like 2 years ago that we talked about the remake of Toxic Avenger, starring
Yes.
Peter Dinklage,
Yeah.
and Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon, making Blair's remake. Well, basically, it's just been in limbo for the last 2 years. Distribution limbo. Basically, the rumor floating around was that the movie was unreleasable.
Oh.
That it's undistributable because it just is so niche. It's so trauma. But, so there was a fear that it might end up just becoming lost media, that it might just be one of those things that never gets to see the light of day, except for the people that saw it at Fantastic Fest and those other festivals that had been showing it. Well, I have good news, folks. Cineverse has saved the Toxic Avengers remake and plans to do an unrated wide theatrical release later this year, according to Bloody Disgusting. So it was originally reported by Variety this afternoon. So basically, it looks like it's getting a theatrical run, and then it's going to get distribution through Cineverse, which is a streaming rights deal also through Legendary Entertainment. So it's not going to be lost. What do you guys think?
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and no matter what the quality is, good or bad, it needs to be seen.
Yes.
Art needs to be seen.
Yes.
So I'm
uh,
glad that it's coming out.
I remember watching the original on an episode of USA Up All Night with Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
Yep,
my
Gilbert
best
Godfrey was doing it. Yep, I remember that
There
too.
were so many wild movies on that. But
yeah. I watched so many weird ass movies on USA's Up All Night. But yeah, this is exciting news. I will watch it once it comes out. We will review it. After we review Chroma's original 1984 Toxic Avenger, which we have not done yet. Guys, let's go here first. So I don't remember if we talked about this. No, we have not talked about this. So A24 has announced that they are doing an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Mask of the Red Death with Sydney Sweeney in talks to star, directed by Charlie Pollinger.
Well, Jamie's already bought his ticket.
Yeah, I have. You had me at Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah. Nothing to do with Sydney Sweeney.
What are you talking about? Yes, I'm a big fan of her acting ability. She's great. But this sounds fun. It's supposed to be a darkly comedic take on the story. And I think that would be a lot of fun to see, like a, dark comedy Poe movie. I mean, you can never get enough Poe adaptions. And to have it, starring Sydney Sweeney is just the icing on the cake. So I'll be down for that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
You love
I'd watch it.
You love.
I
Poe.
mean,
you love Poe.
I love Poe. Yes, but to hear that it's like a more of a comical take. I'm like, we'll see about it. I like comedy. But I like my Poe really nice and gothic.
Well, it probably will still be gothic, but I mean, you think about those Roger Corman Poe movies. They are tongue-in-cheek and campy, but they're still fun. They're still Poe adaptations. The most famous Poe adaptations, really, are those Corman films with Vincent Price and what have you. This is interesting, guys. So, remember we talked about the Anaconda movie with Jack Black and Paul Rudd. Remember this?
Yeah.
Well, they added a couple new people to the film, and it is Thandie Newton and Steve Zahn have joined the cast.
Nice.
Yes. I mean, they're great. I love both of those guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that sounds. I love Steve Zahn.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Jack Black and Steve Zahn together again.
Yes. So that's a Saving Silverman reunion.
Yes, so I'm a
Saving
huge fan of that.
Silverman, underrated comedy. It is so funny. It's so funny. And another one of my favorite Steve Zahn's is That Thing You Do. Actually, he's great in that. That Thing You Do is so great in general, right? It's so good.
I've never
It's so
seen that
good.
one.
What? You never seen it? Oh man, excellent, isn't it, Derek?
Oh yeah.
I've
Tom
never
Hanks
seen
directed
it.
it. Tom Hanks
Really?
directed it. Yep.
I've never seen a Steve Zahn movie I didn't like.
Are happy, can't you see?
Yep, That Thing You Do. And then, guys, we're going to end this with a little bit of. So we have 3 pieces of news here. They all have a common theme. Let's see if you can tell what they are. This first bit is guess what can be yours, guys? Guess what can be yours?
Oh, I think I know.
Do you? You know this?
I think I know it.
Well,
I've got mine ordered already. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you? Because I already ordered it. It's mine. It is the 6-foot standee of Count Orlok.
Yes.
6 foot.
Yeah.
He was like 8 foot tall in that movie.
Well, I mean, they probably didn't want to make it that tall.
How much is it?
But
I'm curious.
6 foot tall, it says. Let's see.
I do want one.
Let's see if it says it. It is pretty cool, right?
It's so
Yeah,
cool.
man, I would literally scare the bejesus out of people on Halloween.
Oh my gosh, dude! Could you imagine?
I would have like a
$45.95.
really... What?
45.
46 bucks.
Yep, $46.
How is it that cheap? You said it was how big is it?
It's just like a
6 foot.
cardboard.
It's a cardboard cutout. It's a standing
I guess,
cardboard
okay.
standing. But $46. You know, yeah, on its way.
That's one of those things you like put in your room and then you forget you put it there. You walk back in and you like scare the shit out of yourself.
You know what's really funny? When I was a kid, I used to have a Jim Carrey stand-up. A stand-in.
Nice.
It was about 6 foot. It was Liar Liar.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's him standing like this. And it says, has like the trust me underneath. And he's just, so I used to have that. And there was a time where I walked into my room because it used to be up against the wall. And I walked in and I totally thought there was a fucking person standing there. I was like, and then I saw it was Jim Carrey. I was like, ah, damn you, Jim. You got me again. I used to have a Darth Vader one at one time, too. Darth Vader.
I was going to say, I think Jake had that for a while.
He did. Yeah, he did.
I was like, I think there was like a standee up there somewhere. There's
a Darth Vader. Before Darth Vader, there was Jim Carrey, and he kind of started to fall apart, so we had to throw him away. So we've got, let's see, the next pieces of horror news. Let's see what they have in common. Robert Eggers is directing a 13th century werewolf movie for Christmas of 2026 called Werewolf.
Nice.
Werewolf?
Werewolf, yep.
I thought it was Warwolf.
Werewolf. I'm guessing the W's are V's, because
that's kind of what I thought too, yeah.
Yeah. So Werewolf, with Sijon, who co-wrote the other Norse movie, the Northmen, with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like that's next. We don't have any other news on it besides that Robert Eggers is writing a werewolf movie, and that sounds fucking badass to me.
Guys.
Yeah. Can't wait.
That does sound pretty cool.
We're there, right? We're there, right?
Yeah, when Wolfman lets us down, that one is going to come in.
Yeah, I'm not hearing great things about Wolfman. We'll have to watch it still, but it's not getting
I'm getting more and more nervous. The more ads I see, the more nervous I'm getting about the movie.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
It's not. People don't like it.
No, and it bombed at the box office as well, unfortunately. So we'll see. I'm still.
Well, you did call it when we saw the.
I hope it doesn't look like I've not seen pictures of it purposely, but I really hope the werewolf does not look like the Universal thing. That thing is fucking horrible. I was like, I think it went like on a full 10-minute rant about how terrible it was.
Yeah.
I know this is going to come at the end, but I just want you guys to be prepared. All that trauma talk and USA Up All Night. I know what movie we're going to watch.
Oh, God.
I'm going to tease it.
Okay. Well, I've got some good news in the meantime before we get that devastating news that Derek's going to give us.
Rude.
Sticking with Robert Eggers, guys, he is writing and directing a new Labyrinth movie for TriStar Pictures.
What?
Robert Eggers is writing and directing a new Labyrinth movie.
Okay.
That is wild. He's writing it with the same co-writer that he wrote that he wrote The Northman with, Werewolf, and Nosferatu. So
okay, well,
it will be a sequel. It's a sequel, Labyrinth sequel, written and directed by Robert Eggers. So we'll get to see more of his whimsical side with still his dark edge, obviously, but that's
David Bowie
that's really
in that movie, right?
Yeah, that's really exciting to me. That's a different. Yeah, David Bowie passed away. Yeah, that's a really big swing in a different angle of him that we'll see. That's pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Derek? Go ahead, Lydia.
I was just like, I don't even have words for that. Like, I'm like trying to like picture it in my head already, and I'm like, how is
I mean,
this? I
with
mean,
what he did. Oh, go ahead,
it
buddy. I'm
could.
so sorry.
No. Yeah, I think it totally could work though. Like, I think it. A lot of people really love that movie a lot. So I'm, I'm gonna be gentle when I say I think that movie could be remade pretty well.
Well, it's not a remake; it's a sequel.
It's a sequel, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
like redone in a newer way.
updated. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. That's interesting. I read that news and I was like, because I knew about Werewolf. I saw that and I was like, oh, that's really exciting. We get another Eggers movie next year. And then I read this and I was like, Robert Eggers is getting into the studio directing game with a bigger budget with Labyrinth. That is wild. So I'm really excited for him. It's obviously something that he's wanted to do. So that's awesome. Good for him. And that wraps up the horror news. Now, guys, it's interesting we ended by talking about Robert Eggers because he just made what is one of my favorite vampire movies of all time, right? One of the best vampire movies of all time. Nosferatu. We gave it a 10-star review or 10 pumpkin review. Check it out. But guys, so I was in the mood to watch another vampire take, and I thought, we could do a different Nosferatu, which we've done. We haven't done one yet. We could do any number of other vampire movies, but one that kind of gets overlooked that people don't talk about is the 1979 John Badham's 1979 Dracula. This is a remake of Todd Browning's Dracula, because it's not an adaptation of it's not an adaptation of Stoker's novel. It's an adaptation of the Balderston play that was adapted for the movie. So I was like, this was a big deal when it came out. It was a big budget Universal remake of Dracula, and you have to remember that was almost 50 years after that movie. So let's start with that. Have either of you guys ever heard of this one?
No.
No?
The cover looks familiar, so I'm pretty sure as I was browsing the movies at the video store back in the day, I may have come across this one.
But you've never seen it?
Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure I've seen imagery from it, like from countless, vampire deep dives that I've done, but never actually realized that this was a Universal remake.
Yeah, so my experience with this movie is I had seen it a long, long time ago when I was a little kid. Like when I was young, I'd seen it. Like I'm saying 10-ish, around that time. But this isn't one that plays all the time on like syndication. This isn't like, the Universal Monster movies play all the time. They did, especially during Halloween. You'd always have those. You had the Shock 52, and then the Son of Shock TV packages that came out with those Universal movies. This one wasn't syndicated a lot, but my first experience, I remember seeing bits and pieces of this from when I was a kid. Like there's certain shots and scenes that I remembered, but my first real experience with this movie was actually the DVD extra for Todd Browning's Dracula. So I had the special edition DVD, and it had this whole making of Dracula, thing on it. And then, it talked about, and then it was talking about other vampires, other Draculas later, and it would show clips of this one. And I was like, I've never seen that. Or, only I remember seeing just those a couple bits and pieces, so it's always been kind of one that was like in the ether for me. Like I was always like, I do want to eventually watch that one because I only remember tiny parts of it, and when I read about it, it sounds really interesting. And I was like, I think that Frank Langella would play a good Count Dracula. He's got the voice and the look to do something with this. So tonight was kind of like a first watch for me. Hey, do you guys hear an echo?
Oh, that's probably me. I'm sitting really close to my mic.
Hello?
Turn this down.
There, it's gone. Nope, it's still there.
Yeah, hang on. Let me turn you down on my headphones a little bit. There.
Hello? Hello? There, it's gone. So this was almost like a first watch for me. There's a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff we'll talk about. But first, where do you guys want to start? Let's talk about the overall presentation of this thing. What do you think? Like, I like that we start on the Demeter and we just skip Dracula's castle altogether. What do you guys think?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
That was very
I agree.
refreshing, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, and this movie was already at like almost 2 hours. So if you start at Dracula's castle, like it's a long movie. I thought it was a good choice. I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the novel, Dracula's castle shit is like really important and really cool. And then in certain adaptions, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's incredibly important, incredibly cool because we get to see how creepy his castle is and all. And we get to, because Harker's going there. Even in Universals, we get the cool, creepy stuff with Renfield. But I thought it was a smart choice and kind of like just make the inciting incident just the crash of the Demeter is pretty cool, right? That's our first, that kicks off the movie.
Yeah, I really did like that. I was like, it like for me, it really like pulled me into like, okay, now I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention to every detail of what's different and what's new to me. Like I really found that very refreshing.
Yeah, we also get a couple of cool kills in the beginning here. We get like the dude's throat being ripped out and stuff.
Got one jaw drop for me for that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, this movie's fucking going hard immediately. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it does open with a bang. It opens with that freaking just the crashing of the waves and stuff. You're like, oh, we're in
lightning,
Dracula.
the
lightning
and the thunder.
Shit,
So cool.
okay. That sounds cool
Like
to
an
me.
Imagine Dragon song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thunder. Yep.
Nope,
Oh man,
cut
I
that
don't
out.
want to like sidetrack us, but every time that song comes on, or Ellie wants to watch it with, I want to hear thunder, thunder.
But it definitely
Yeah,
it made me feel the Halloween. Like I was like, oh, I feel like it's Halloween right now with this lightning and vampire
and the
gossip
howl at
stuff.
the very beginning, the howl of the wolf,
Yeah.
which was really funny because at the time all three dogs were sitting by me, and that happened, and Remy went,
yes, my dogs did too.
Yeah. Lily looked up, Rover kind of looked around and looked at me, but Remy like went,
yeah,
and his ears kind of went sideways, and
yep.
I was
My
like,
puppy-
it's just a TV bub.
My puppy Echo was like, "Who said that?"
Yeah, that's what he was like. You guys, you hear that?
He will watch the TV too. He watched that whole opening. He watched the castle, like the like,
Push it, yeah.
sky footage, however they did that to the castle, and he was just like watching it like, whoa, what's this?
Yeah, what is this? So what's interesting, this movie does a lot of interesting things because it moves a lot of characters around. So Mina is now in the Lucy role.
Yes.
Lucy is in the Mina role. Mina is now Mina Van Helsing. So she's the daughter of Van Helsing. And Lucy is now Dr. Seward's daughter. So they moved. So that took me a second. I was like, wait, what?
It's still taking me a second. And you just said it. I'm like, how did this?
But again, like you said, it's refreshing because it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
because you're expecting, and we've seen this story told so many times that since it starts out like it does, and then that immediately happens, I was like, wait, that's Mina. Wait, what? And then as I paid more attention, it's like, okay, so that's Mina Van Hel. Okay, so this is what they're doing. Cool. And I think both actresses do great. I think they're both great in their roles. But guys, I'm not gonna lie, felt like coming home to a warm hug when you see Donald Pleasance on screen as Dr. Seward. Come on, guys.
Yes.
How
Oh,
great
no,
is he in this?
Yeah. No, he does a really good job, and you love him as an actor, and so you immediately like just kind of gravitate towards him.
Yes. He's so
Yeah, he's
great.
fantastic. He's fantastic. As soon as you see
I love
him, you're
his
like,
look and everything. Like he
Yeah.
fits in perfect in this world.
he does.
He
He's
really
great.
does.
I love the asylum itself. Is really
Mm-hmm.
interesting and cool and kind of kooky, with all the patients running around like crazy and all this kind of shit. You're like, oh, this is a madcap.
Yeah, and like
the
the
fact
metal structure of the like
The
building.
stairs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of remind me of the Mangler. But it's like the good version of the Mangler. Because the Mangler is not the good version of the Mangler. It's not the good version of anything. So I have kind of a love for it. But yeah, that shit's great. And then, I also like how we have it to where Dracula was found on the ship, like on the shipwreck. So it's like he's a survivor of this, as opposed to just, his stuff being stuff being hauled there and then him just appearing. Kind of gets rid of that plot hole, if you think about it, because then it's like, oh, he was found in the wreckage, he survived. So now they're like, oh, he's the only survivor of this incident, and he claims not to remember anything.
Yes.
And then we meet Jonathan Harker as well, who played pretty well. I think I think he's pretty good. What do you guys think of Harker? He's played by Trevor Eve.
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
no complaints.
Lucy is played by Kate Nellington, and Mina is played by Jan Francis. By the way, they're both great.
Mhm.
But let's talk about why we're here, which is Frank Langella as Dracula. What do you guys think of him as Dracula?
I'm mixed. I'll be honest with you.
Me too.
So
I think he's
here's
great.
the positive. He's so tall. He's an imposing presence from like that perspective. I'll say one thing of the Draculas that we have watched recently. For me, he didn't have that like presence about him. You know what I mean? Like the one from the black and white one that we watched, like the very first one.
You
There's
mean
like
Bela
this-
Lugosi? What the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about? That
Bela
one
Lugosi.
guy, whoever he
So
is.
I couldn't think
He
of
was-
it. Okay,
I was trying to remember if it was in color or not.
Yeah, he was. He was
I knew it
struggling.
was black and white, but like he had that like striking, like he had a gravity to him. He was really tall and very imposing, but I didn't get that like fright from him, if that makes sense.
Well, I think that's kind of purposeful. He's supposed to be more romantic.
Yeah,
He's
definitely,
the more
I feel that.
romantic Dracula.
and
I
that
mean,
leads
the-
me.
It-
That leads
it-
me to
I
my
mean, the-
point.
The,
of
the
why I'm
tagline
alive.
is okay.
Right.
The tagline is a love story is what the tagline is for this movie. So that
Yeah.
they were definitely leaning into that angle more.
Yeah,
Good, Lydia.
that leads me to my
Mhm.
point. Is I think like I wasn't that attracted to him. And that sounds so stupid, but I don't know. I guess that plays a part in my Dracula choosing of like I was just like, this guy is just like a 70s guy.
Oh well, he's definitely 70s, but I think he's incredible. I think he's incredibly charming. I think he's incredibly charming.
I really like his eyes. And
I
like
love
the thing that he does of like he's like scanning like constantly.
yeah, always looking around. Yeah. What I like about him is how like normal he tries to act, but he's still slightly off. But he's good enough that he can put them at ease. Like that first dinner scene, I think is really great. How he
Mhm.
just kind of confidently, just kind of talking to them about all these things. Like, oh, I don't remember any of this. And I'm like, I could see myself becoming friends with Dracula. He seems like a pretty chill guy. And then, he fucks shit up and you're like, ah, man, maybe not. He's got a temper on him, that Dracula. But I think he's good. I think I don't think he's the best Dracula. I wouldn't put him in the
Yeah.
same camp of Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee, but I
Yeah.
definitely, or Gary Oldman. But I think he's like,
We've
I
seen
think
so many
he's-
good ones. Like it's he's just not at the top of that list.
but
I think he did
he's
really
in
great.
I think he's in the tier right below it. I mean, he's definitely better than all the other Draculas I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Besides those people I named.
I think this may have come up when we watched it, but because this would have been not necessarily like right at the same time, but like within a decade of one another. This really made me wish that they had made a standalone Dracula movie with the Dracula from Monster Squad. Anyway, that was the thought I had because he was anyway. I'll move on, but I'm not saying
because
he
he's
did a
not
bad
great
job.
Dracula.
That's not what I'm saying. Oh yeah, I thought he would have.
I mean, he's great for the Monster Squad Dracula, but he's not. I mean, he wouldn't be in this movie, Derek. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I would have liked to have seen that movie with him as like an actual like main character Dracula, as opposed to like kind of a side character. Either way,
Oh
I'm
my
not saying
gosh.
that he did a poor job in this movie. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have this. I had an expectation of like how Dracula should feel, and I didn't get that feel from him. It doesn't mean it's good or bad.
Yeah, I think like sometimes he had it, and then sometimes I was like, I just remembering better performances by other people, but like one of the lines that he does, I think it was the like, I don't drink wine.
Yeah, they don't drink wine. Yeah.
And
yeah,
I was
he
like,
does that very.
He said it so quick that I was like,
I think that was another deliberate choice for sure.
Yeah,
it's like we got to get these lines in here, but he doesn't want to copy Bela Lugosi. So it's I never drink wine. Like that's a more natural way to say it. You wouldn't say, and somebody asked you in your vampire, you wouldn't say, I never drink wine. It would be like, what the fuck? Are you a vampire? That's immediately what they'd ask. Are you a vampire? You fucking vampire?
Wait a minute. I've seen this movie.
Man,
wait a
I
minute.
can't wait.
That seems like you're saying you drink other things. I don't like it. But yeah, the lines I think that he does well that are from the original. There's one, the creature of the night's in there, and it's pretty good. But
he changes it, doesn't he?
He does a little bit, yeah. But what I really like is his confrontation with Van Helsing, which we'll get to. That line he says, for somebody who has not lived a single lifetime, you are very wise, Van Helsing. And I'm like, yeah,
I like that.
Such a great fucking line. Well, I like their whole confrontation, which we'll get to. But first, we have to introduce, at this point, the greatest living actor on the planet, Laurence Olivier, as Dr. Van Helsing. And he's phenomenal. He's Laurence Olivier, 12-time Academy Award nominee. Laurence Olivier decided to be in a fucking Dracula movie. It's wild to me.
Yeah.
By the way,
I think he was absolutely like the most natural. Like he was living as that person.
yeah.
Like there was no Lawrence left in there. It was just all Van Helsing.
Yeah, he's great. He comes in a little later in the story, but when he comes in, he's like, and they do an interesting thing with Van Helsing as well, I think. Derek, what do you think of Van Helsing, first of all?
Oh, I love that they made him Lucy's dad, as opposed to this like, oh, wise and this doctor who's going to come in and like I love that aspect of it because he's more or less like discovering the situation, and now he has
Yes.
a much deeper connection to the whole thing.
Yeah, he has skin in the game. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I loved his character.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I like that change. It's not necessary, obviously. I mean, Van Helsing's a great character the way he's written because then he's just doing it altruistically. But
Mhm.
Hmm.
I do love that. That's a cool take on it, and I really love like you talked about Derek that he is discovering. Like he kind of has hunches about things, but he doesn't know. He's not the wise Van Helsing that we usually know, where he's been studying the occult for years. He's kind of piecing it together as the
Well, and
movie's going on.
yeah, and I get the feeling that he's not like he's not like recalling something from a textbook. It seemed more like his was like recalling things from like a folklore that he had heard or
Hmm.
stories that he had heard, like a lived experience as opposed to what we would traditionally get, like, Dr. Van Helsing, he is this world renowned occultist.
Yeah, and I mean,
It
we
felt
do
more
get him a
authentic.
little bit. We get a little bit of him researching certain stuff,
Oh
like the
yeah,
bat
yeah.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. Like when he's talking about the garlic and stuff, it's like he's pulling from his, when he
Superstitions
wraps Lucy's grave in the garlic.
mm-hmm.
It's like he's doing that. Guys, a scene that I really like, I think is really effective, is the first time we see Dracula climbing down the wall of the castle or of the
Yes.
to get to her.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole seduction scene of her is fantastic. I think
I
it's
Agreed.
would
so
agree with
good.
that.
When I think it's actually creepy when she looks and he's like hanging upside down and looks at her in the window. I was like, ugh. I'd be like, fuck that.
Well,
Yes.
and I think the thing that they get right with that really came across to me was uh, that would have been such an unnatural thing to see. Like it would and it took me a moment looking from her lens of like your mind's trying to put it, what is I know it looks familiar, but what is it? And it's somebody who's upside down outside your window. I loved that because it felt real, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They did a great
Yeah.
job of bringing that to life.
And the fog, was so great too, right? The fog. And then when
Mhm.
when he flings the doors open and the fog's bellow in with him, I was like, that's some fucking Dracula shit right there. That's some
Yes.
legit Dracula shit. Um, so the whole seduction of Lucy is interesting. It's good. I'm not saying interesting is bad. I'm saying it's interesting. It actually keeps our focus because
Yes.
we're kind of invested. So when he finally does like seduce her and bite her, we get like the most 70s fucking shit happen. Like we get like this red light shit going on and silhouettes of basically him turning her into a vampire.
Hmm.
What do you think of this stuff? I mean, I think it's great. It's artistic as hell, but
Yeah, I thought it was cool, but yeah, I was definitely like, this is very 70s.
it's definitely the 70s.
And
70s,
then,
baby.
Okay.
like it could have, yeah, like I mean it could have been done several different ways, but they just had this like bat like
Back.
flapping with the red and like all these like they're
Yeah.
like vampire, vampire, vampire.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just
So-
There's some
remember
cool
that.
looking shots with it, but yeah.
Definitely, definitely. It was cool.
I want you guys to be honest with me. Okay. If you are Jonathan and Lucy just died and you're delivering the deed to the count and he signs it and he's
just
like,
died.
oh, are you leaving? Huh?
Mina just died.
Mina, that's what I meant. Mina just died. And he's signing the will. He's like, you're gonna do this right now, right? I'm like, no, I'll do it after the funeral. Okay. And then he's like, I will invite her to my castle. I'd have been like, you know what? On second thought, I'm gonna put this off for a week. Just there's no way he was giving away the vibe, man. If I was Jonathan, there's no way I would have left.
No, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
especially with all the jealousy that was already like
But I mean,
festering there.
he put out the vibe 100% on purpose because he's Dracula. So he's like, I've seen
You are a
dozens of
peasant.
you. You know what I mean? I've seen
The
dozens
food.
of you.
Yeah, and he's
You're
like
nothing to me.
irresistible.
I'm gonna steal your girlfriend. She's gonna become my wife. I'm gonna live for hundreds more years while you're dead. So I actually like that scene a lot because I like how like cocky he is, because it's very British, because he's doing it under the guise of politeness, but there's an undercurrent of just smug shit heelish, shit heelness right underneath it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, oh well, would you deliver this letter to Dr. Seward that I was going to offer my castle to them for the night because of this, and of course you're more than welcome to come, but as you said, you're leaving, and it's like, that's such a fucking dick thing to say. He did that shit on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
He did that shit on purpose. That's why I like this Dracula. I'm like, he's kind of an asshole, but he's kind of funny.
I will say that is the one thing that I've always felt about the actor is that he has the smugness. Like it's down. He's played a lot of characters throughout the years where that was just like he does it very, very well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Frank Langella is a great actor.
Oh yeah. I like him in tons
everything.
of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that seduction's fun and everything. But Lydia, I know that you're a big fan of the Woman in White. These are some of your favorite scenes. What do you think of Dr. Seward and Van Helsing's confrontation with Mina in this one?
Let me think. Let me picture it real quick. I'm trying to remember.
So they go down. They find out that her grave is actually
she dug out of it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I liked that. Oh, she was like very like zombie-ish in this one.
Her makeup looked really kind of cool because it's something that we've never seen. And
a bit scary.
I thought she was actually pretty decently scary. Mm-hmm. If I was a little kid, I probably would have been like, I don't know if I like that.
The big old contact, like red eyes, very alien, very monster.
And her saying, Papa, Papa, she's walking towards him was pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Undead kid. Oh. Derek, you muted. Oh, first time in the season he's muted.
Whatever. It's because I'm flimmy, man. That's bullshit.
Just a flimmy guy.
I'm a flimmy fellow.
That's what it was.
There's the shirt from season 1.
Yep.
No, what I was saying was I thought she looked really great.
Yeah, I did too.
Her eyes, she looked fantastic. If I would have seen her in the dark, I'd have peed myself.
Yeah, she's really creepy. I agree. When as soon as she popped up on screen, I was like, oh, that's a cool makeup choice. I actually really like that. Mm-hmm. And the scene is really great too. How like he's kind of just taken aback by her. He can't do anything because he's trying to kind of fight her off, but he's in shock.
Yeah.
And Dr. Seward comes and saves him with the crucifix, and he stakes her. Like she runs into the stake and he stakes her. And then
like, Papa.
that'd be heartbreaking.
That would be.
His performance is amazing when he cries while holding her. You're like, fucking Olivia, you son of a bitch. And then they have the scene after when they're trying to prove to Jonathan that she is undead, which is late after the confrontation with Dracula, which we'll talk about. But the holding the mirror over, and they have to cut out her heart. So like this poor guy loses his daughter, finds out that she's a vampire, kills her as a vampire, then has to cut out her heart to make sure she doesn't return. Wow. Wow. Right?
Yeah.
So the confrontation with Van Helsing, what do you guys think? I think it's
Love it.
like one of the best standoffs. Yeah.
Honestly, though, I did laugh like out loud when he threw something to break that mirror.
Yeah, well, I did too. It made me laugh because I was like, well, and what I do like about it though is it's so it's kind of a play on the scene with Dracula and Van Helsing in the 1931 version, except Van Helsing doesn't know about it quite yet. But you know how in that movie, Dracula has the least chill way of dealing with this reflection. He just fucking smacks it and looks at him like a psychopath. So I like that they're like, well, we're going to turn that up to 10 and we're just going to have him break this fucking giant mirror.
Like chuck a log at it.
Because there's just no... I think he grabs a vase and throws it at it.
I couldn't tell what it even was. I was like, what was that?
I think it was a vase. He throws it at it. But there's like no subtlety to it, which I love because it kind of paints him in a corner immediately. He tries to cover his tracks like, my culture, we're afraid of, we don't like mirrors because of it's man's vein or whatever. And he's like, oh, well, you'll find this thing very interesting. Look at this medicine I'm giving her, and pops out some garlic like, you're a fucking vampire. Nobody just breaks mirrors.
Yep.
Yep. What do you think of the whole standoff, Derek?
No, I too was like, that's a weird reaction, to say the least. But yeah, this little confrontation that they have, I think was well done. But
yeah, I love it. Like I love when he, after he spins around and he's got his back to the wall and he says his dialogue and everything, and he's like, tries to get him to come do the Bela Lugosi, and he's like, your will is strong, I guess I'll come to you. It's a cool like line.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out the cross, and it's just like it's just great stuff, because it's like I love that transition shot of him jumping through the window and turning into a wolf and running off.
That was so cool.
That's some cool shit right there. That's some vampire shit.
That was good.
That's some good stuff. Then we so Mina's all in a she's still in Dracula's trance. So she's trying to like lure, warn him about them coming for him and all this shit. And so they're like trying to keep her under lock and key. So Van Helsing and Jonathan go to Count Dracula's castle to kill him, essentially. They're like, we got to end this. And they get another confrontation. What do you guys think of this one in the basement? Because there's some cool shit that happens in this basement scene, I think.
I'm trying to remember it. I'm sorry. I feel like I just watched it too. I'm like,
so this is where they go to stake him. They see
they go to stake him.
Crypt.
Yeah.
And
no.
Oh, am I ahead?
No.
Am I too far ahead?
Way ahead. This is where they go to Dracula's castle, and they open up the coffin, and he's not in it, and he appears.
Oh yeah.
And they have that full confrontation with him, because he's like, I underestimated your powers. He's like being awake during the sun, moving around during the sun daylight. He's like, it's daylight. It's always daylight somewhere. He's like, as long as I can find darkness, I'm fine. Basically, it's the rays of the sun kill him, not just the fact that it's a daytime.
Yeah.
So he uses his powers to close the door and shit, and he's just like kind of messing with them. Turns into like a bat when he tries to hit him, and
that was so cool.
Yeah, that transition when he swings and he turns into a bat and flies off.
Yeah.
Then he attacks Jonathan's face, and Van Helsing starts whacking that barrier to knock down the beams so the sunlight flows through, and he catches fire and flies off. That's some cool shit too, right?
Yeah, that's some good shit right there.
Yeah, some good vampire shit. That's some good vampiring. That's some vampiring there.
Yes, I liked the whole build up to that. That whole scene was good. I liked it. And then when he swings, because I liked that Jonathan was kind of like circling the whole time, like he's kind of like trying to, get around him enough to like attack him. And then when he finally like swings that thing, he just like turns into a bat, just like
loops out of there. Good stuff. And then I love that. So we haven't talked about Renfield yet because he plays a smaller part in this movie than he does in the 31 version that this is remade from. But I think the Renfield's fine. I think he's an okay, Renfield, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty fun. Yeah, he's eating the bugs and shit. But Renfield's death is fucking awesome, guys.
I'm trying to remember because he's in the asylum.
Mm-hmm. He breaks in through the bars, comes in, and then they have that dialogue where he tells him, basically like, I told you to come to me and everything. And he's like, you sold me out. You were trying to warn them that I was coming. And he's like, just beat me, master, but let me live. And then he snaps his neck by snaps it all the way around. Like,
yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, that was cool. Do you like it? Definitely made me think of that Dracula Dead and Loving It.
What do you mean you missed that one?
I missed that one.
Oh.
I missed that in death.
Yeah, he totally snaps his head all the way around and just drops.
Well, now I have to rewatch that.
It was pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good. It got intense.
Yeah, snaps his neck all the way around. And then
I don't know why what I was doing. I remember him breaking into the thing and him being like, "My master is coming, he promised me." Then him like breaking through the window to get into the asylum. But then I don't know. I must have like lost track of it. But I don't remember seeing him like snap his neck.
Yeah, he spins his head completely around. And it was in color.
Derek, turns out you like the black and white movies better.
That is a no-go, Lydia. No-go.
So then we get our final, our third act, because Dracula whisks Mina away and runs off with her. And our heroes, Van Helsing and Harker, have to go get her. They tell Seward to stay back in case, because they find out that they're on a boat sailing away. So he's like, you stay here in case they didn't get on the boat. We'll get on the boat to stop them. And we get the climax of this movie, which honestly I think kicks ass. So yeah, he goes to, opens up the crypt, like you said, Derek, and they're both laying in there. And he goes to staking. And she says something, and it, I think he was awake the whole time. I think he was just waiting, biding his time, because he totally would have felt him doing it. But he impales Van Helsing, and you're like, what is going on here? And then he turns to attack Jonathan. Jonathan shoots him several times with a gun. It does nothing. Then he gets like the scariest he looks. His eyes like get all like dilated, and he's grabbing him by the face. And he throws it because Jonathan tries to throw a hook at him, and he throws it, and it sticks by Van Helsing, who's impaled on the wall. And he grabs the hook and impales Dracula in the back with it. And Van Helsing hits the thing and drags him up through the mast into the sunlight. What do you guys think of that ending?
So badass. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, it rips. It's a hell of a vampire ending. What do you think, Derek?
No, I think it worked really well. I liked the play with the hook, and also that Van Helsing got like one last, like in there after he got impaled because I was like, no,
Yeah, and
not
he's the one
you.
that defeats the monster. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to avenge him. So I
No,
love it. And then go ahead.
go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, I was gonna say we get that burnt makeup on it. He starts to like just keeps it, the worst sunburn you've ever seen in your life
A little
before he turns
crispy.
to dust. Yep. And then his cape floats away in the ether. And Mina
See, that was the part that
smiles.
confused me. Yeah. Did they ever make a sequel to this?
No, no.
Well, it alluded to like the way that it flew away
Yeah. I
felt
agree.
guided, not
Yeah,
just
no,
fluttering in the wind.
Like
it
he
was
was
just
in it.
yeah, he wasn't in it. He was dead for sure. He's dead. It's just
I
the
think
cape
that was just
floating
a
away.
kite.
Yeah, kind of looked like a kite. Yeah, but yeah, it floats away and she smiles like the memory
Happy.
of
Yeah.
of him, and we get the ending with her no longer a vampire. So yeah, I think it's a hell of an ending. Like I think it kind of kicks ass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh shit, this is a movie that like, I love when how I love like kick-ass vampire endings. Like the ending of Horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee is one of the all-time great vampire endings with him running across the table and popping down. We get the meltdown. It's just like so awesome. A good like just vampire sunlight fire is where it's at. That's the good shit. And this one I think delivers because I would have, if I were directing it, it's just to add a little more kinetic energy to it. Instead of him going and pushing it, I would have had him kick the lever, boom, and then make him fly up because it just would give it more energy. You know what I mean? More oomph.
Yes. I think this whole movie could have used a little bit of tuning in that way of like a little bit quicker action beats. I think
the reason it didn't is because it was made in 1979.
You
know what I mean? It's like
definitely
that's the way of it. That's the way of it.
Yep.
But I don't think it's slow by any means or like, like lethargic. It works. It works. It builds to its moments. It has some cool horror moments. So, yeah, that's Dracula, John Badham's Dracula or Dracula 1979. What are you guys' thoughts? And then I'll give you some behind the scenes bits.
What do you think, Derek?
Let's see. So I actually thought this movie was pretty good. One day I will show it to Clark. It did have, and obviously it was its intent. Like it had a very romantic feel to it, like a dark romantic feel to it. I thought the acting was great. I love the cinematography. Obviously,
yes,
it was made in '79.
We didn't talk about is I think the production design on this movie and the production value is through the roof gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I also like moving the movie up to 1913 is also very interesting. So we have more modern stuff like the early car and stuff like that. I think that's cool stuff.
Yeah, I like that too. The Victorian setting and the castle looks great.
Yeah. So go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. Where to rate this movie? I would watch this movie again. And it's not that I didn't like it. It's not my favorite Dracula incarnation. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. It was pretty solid, and I will definitely show this to Clark. Hopefully he likes horror movies when he gets older.
What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, I think I'm right around there. I think probably a 7 for me. I think it's solid, and I probably will try to watch it around Halloween time.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I might be a little higher. I think it's like a 7.5, almost an 8. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it like I don't know it. I don't think it's not as good as like Bram Stoker's Dracula or Todd Browning's Dracula or obviously Nosferatu or some shit like that.
Right.
Or
The
horror
high
of
bar.
Dracula. Or horror of Dracula, which I think I gave a 10 because that movie rips. But like, I think this is very good. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I had a lot of fun watching it. I think I feel it feels very classy on top of, classy, romantic, just this like a really cool take on the story. And, it's kind of chill, but I don't know. It worked for me. Like I said, I think the production design, the performances, just made it to where I was like, I could see myself watching this again and having a good time. So, yeah, 7.5. Good Dracula movie, I think. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So before we aconize this thing, there's some really interesting little bits of stuff that I wanted to talk about with this movie. Which is excuse me. There's some bits that we didn't really talk about, but I wanted to ask you guys, what did you guys think of the music in this movie? Because I thought it was, great, right?
Oh my gosh. I know where you're going with this.
I felt a connection to the Bram Stoker's Dracula. It felt like there was mixed in there just a little bit. Or did I just make that up?
Well,
Felt like it might
the
have been
music-
inspired by.
Well, that Bram Stoker's Dracula would be inspired by this. This is made in
That's what I mean.
1979. Oh, yeah.
No,
Yes.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Is
So the music
Go
to
ahead.
this movie is John Williams.
well,
Done.
there you go.
Yeah, so that's why it's great. Yeah, it's great. While I was watching it, I was like, man, this music is great. Like the main melody is like
Mhm.
super good. Hang on a second. Oh, I got a stupid message. That's why.
Dang it.
Hang on.
Derek, I thought you were going to say that the music made you feel like really connected to like the Force.
Dracula. Yeah.
No. It felt like Bram Stoker's Dracula drew inspiration from it.
Give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
What? On
Yeah, I couldn't believe-
IMDb, I didn't get this whatsoever. This is kind of off topic, but storyline at the bottom of it, it's got tags. And one is like vampires, Jonathan Harker character, Mina Murphy character, homosexual subtext.
That's vampires in general, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, this
Okay.
one seems pretty straightforward.
Pretty
Mhm.
straight.
Pretty straightforward.
Come on, you fucking cock. Give me just a second. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it does this. It just always, I set it where it needs to be, and then it just moves, and it drives me nuts. All right, so we're back. We're back, fam. All right. So, yeah, John Williams did the score. It's great.
I couldn't believe when I
the-
saw his name pop up. I was like, wait, what?
You're like, and he did this after Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Donald Pleasant shot this after he made Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that
I
wild?
can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. So yeah, that sort of stuff is cool. But also what I wanted to talk about is there's a little bit of controversy regarding this movie, right? Regarding the coloring of this movie.
Oh.
So what
It's very
we
dark.
watched, so you know how it's kind of almost monochromatic, like almost like, it's in color, but it's almost black and white, right?
yes.
Like, like it's very saturated. John Badham recolored it for its like original home video, like Laserdisc release in like 1991 or something like that. He changed the color timing to that because he said he intended to shoot it in black and white, but they wouldn't let him. So they gave him this more like this more, he made it that more muted color. Well, Shout Factory, if we watch this on Blu-ray, Shout Factory has the original 1979 color version from the theatrical version, which I am really interested to see because it's the first time that it's been available since 1982 that we could see the original color.
That's
So
crazy.
now I want to buy the Shout Factory Blu-ray, not only because I liked this movie, but I've got to see what the difference is in the color grading, right? Because I guess it was shot more. I guess it was shot more golden. Is what it says here in Wikipedia is like shot more golden to like give so that way it showed off all the production design, and then Badham went after for that release and sucked most of the color out. So you still see reds and stuff, but this movie should pop. I mean, it should pop.
Yeah, Jake walked in as I was watching it. He didn't watch this one with me, but he was like, "Is this movie colorized?"
Yeah,
really said that.
It's very muted, and that's why this movie in the theatrical version, the theatrical cut was like Technicolor, like the horror Dracula movies, which the Hammer movies are so vibrant and bold and beautiful because they're trying to set themselves apart from the black and white stuff that came before. So they're like, look at this blood, it's red.
Scary.
And, censors were like, oh, save me from the red. Because guess what, folks? Little soapbox moments. Progress is always moving forward. We don't go backwards. There you go. It's my moment. You can't stop progress. It's going to happen. Fight it tooth and nail, but it comes. So, guys, it's time to Atkinize this movie. Who would the great Tom Atkins play in this? Ooh, it's hard because I know who it'd be. Jonathan Harker.
Yeah.
So we're not replacing Donald Pleasance, and we're sure as shit not replacing Laurence Olivier. So
Yeah. And I can't really see him playing
Dracula. No. But he'd be a good
Although
Harker.
he does have a presence.
He obviously has a presence. It's pure magnetism. And it might throw off the chemistry. It might make it less believable that Mina would even be attracted to Dracula with Tom Atkins standing right beside it. But you have to use, suspension of disbelief sometimes.
Yeah,
with
that's
movies.
true.
That's what movies all about.
Yep.
All right, Derek. It's your turn to pick. What do we watch next week?
All right. So first off, I've got to tell you so when we were talking about the USA Up All Night, I was like, man, there's a movie that like really stuck with me. And
why did you get so dark? Sorry. Why'd you get so dark?
I don't know.
Also, I just had a feeling that it's my turn to pick, but I don't know. I can't remember.
It's not your turn to pick. You picked Smile 2 of Slight Frown.
You picked Smile 2, and then I picked this, and now it's Derek's turn.
Okay.
Go,
so
buddy.
I was like, oh, how would I describe that movie? And so my description was 80s movie about a nerd that sells his soul to become a rock star but craves blood. And from that, I found it, guys. I really found it. So next week.
Did you see if this was available, first of all?
I did. It's on Tubi.
Okay.
It's on Tubi. Here, let me follow the link and just double check real quick. Oh, yeah, it is available. All right, so it's on Tubi. This movie stars Tracy Lords.
Oh.
Right?
Yep.
And it's called Shock 'em Dead.
Oh no!
I've never seen
It's gonna
this.
be one of those Derek
It sounds
picks.
horrible.
It sounds like Creatures of the Night or Children of the Night or
Shock
whatever.
'em dead. You're gonna be like, man, Children of the Night was a great movie, Derek.
Angel Martin has made a deal of a lifetime: fame, fortune, and beautiful women. The only problem is that the deal with the devil. Shock 'em dead. Okay, I've never ever heard of this film, so this will be definitely a first watch for me. I thought you were going to pick another movie, which I'll tell you about off mic, that we'll have to do eventually too. But so that's Shock 'em Dead. It's available on Tubi, folks. So the movie, as you know, the Indiegogo is live currently. We are at about 25% funded with all the pledges that we have, plus the amount that's on Indiegogo. So we just need to get over the finish line so we can do this. We've assembled a crew. All the money will go towards feeding the crew and housing, and basically paying them to make up effects, and to get the most of the money. Almost all the money goes to paying them a living wage, so that way they get paid for their art. So if you feel so, check out that link. Donate if you feel. We have great tiers on there. There's a bunch of fun perks that are available for donations. Some of them, they're at, as low as just contribute for $1. You can throw $25 out and get a digital copy of the movie when it's done, plus a digital poster. Clear up to a set visit and dinner with the cast and crew, signed Secret Admirer mask, screen worn. So there's tons of stuff on there. So you should totally check it out. Donate if you can. If you're not donating, you're investing. But invest if you can. If you can't, then share it to somebody else, and maybe they can. So just get that rolling, guys. We have. Go to the Facebook page. Every day is going to be a new post regarding the film. So we'll have cast and crew highlights. We'll have some pre-production stills, some pre-production work. Maybe hint at a couple of the kills that you guys are going to see with this thing. And there's some. You guys know what the kills are. There's some great kills, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, be a little more enthused about the film I'm pitching that we're making.
Sorry, I was no, the kills are amazing. I love them. I was updating our tracker.
Oh,
why?
Okay.
So sorry
So,
about
yeah.
that, but no, it is awesome.
Yeah, great. It's exciting. We're really excited to do it. We're ready to get this crew assembled and make a movie that you guys will enjoy, and help us make it. And then that way you'll be a part of it too. You'll get your name in the credits. Say, look, I helped make this movie. I'm a part of this. So definitely check that out. The link is in the description for sure. So go click on that and check it out. That's all we got for today, guys. So go to the Facebook, which will be in the description as well. Go to the Indiegogo. Go to Tubi and watch fucking Shock 'em Dead.
Is that what
That
it's
way,
called?
it's called Shock 'em Dead, Lydia. So we're watching Shock 'em Dead. So go to Tubi, watch the Tracy Lords classic, Shock 'em Dead, which, not to get confused with the other Tracy Lords classic, Shocker Dead, which is where she just the Shocker performed on her for 3 straight hours.
Oh my god.
Because she used to do porn. So for that's the end of our show. I'm ending on a high note. So guys, check all that shit out. Please check out the Indiegogo, and please watch Shock 'em Dead, so Lydia and I won't be the only poor souls that have to watch it. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's a masterpiece. I don't know. I've not seen it. So until next week, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.